Y'all better brace yourselves because there's a family feud in Hollywood so vicious, it's got insiders clutching their pearls. And honey, it's not just any family. It's the Lively clan, complete with secret deals, under-the-table favors, and jaw-dropping betrayals that turn the industry upside down. If you thought you knew all the drama behind Blake Lively's squeaky-clean image, buckle up. The real story behind her cutthroat moves, her sisterly showdown, and the hidden fallout with Justin Baldoni is finally spilling onto the streets. One thing's for sure. This meltdown is bigger than anything you've seen on the big screen, and it's about to shake up everyone's reputation. So let's start from the beginning, when people believed Blake Lively was the perfect golden girl. She had the looks, the fame, the brand deals, and a family that seemed so supportive. But rumors whispered a different story. Word on the street was that Blake felt overshadowed by her siblings, particularly her sister, who was once a rising star in her own right. Behind that cheerful red carpet smile, folks say Blake was tired of being seen as just another Lively. She wanted to be the Lively. Some say she'd do anything to stand out and win Hollywood's unwavering devotion. But the real spark that lit this whole mess wasn't just sibling rivalry. It involved an outside figure, Justin Baldoni, who got swept up in the crossfire. Hollywood watchers started noticing weird tension at events. Blake would gush about her family one day, then sidestep all mention of them the next. And behind closed doors, allegedly, phone calls and hush-hush meetings were happening. Industry insiders claimed that big producers were quietly being told who to favor and who to drop. But that was only the start. A few months ago, a rumor cropped up that there had been an epic blowout between Blake and her sister. Someone from their inner circle leaked that the sisters had fought over personal boundaries and professional envy. Suddenly, everything about the picture-perfect Lively family seemed shady. So when Justin Baldoni's name popped up, tied to a hush-hush falling out, everyone began connecting dots. The question is, how did one family beef lead to Hollywood's most talked about meltdown? Well, sweetie, the tea just kept getting hotter. But that wasn't the only bombshell that rocked the Lively name. Not long after rumors of a family clash reached the tabloids, out came the big twist. Blake launched a series of statements, some subtle, some loud, claiming to feel threatened and victimized. Folks were confused at first. Threatened by who? Then she let Justin Baldoni's name slip. At first, her claims sounded serious. She implied he'd caused her emotional turmoil that left her too shaken to show her face in public. People sympathized. After all, it's no joke when a star opens up about personal distress. Public support poured in. Social media flared up with hashtag #IStandWithBlake, and fans braced to see if more allegations would emerge. But then came the suspicious part. Not long after Blake revealed her so-called deep fear, she showed up to multiple red carpets, smiling bigger than ever. She was living her best life in dazzling outfits, appearing at events left and right. To onlookers, it didn't match the story of someone too terrified to leave the house. Speculation started swirling. Some believed Blake was dramatizing her anxiety for clout. Others said her sister had threatened to reveal damaging details about the family, pushing Blake to get ahead of any negative press. And right in the middle of it all, Justin Baldoni. People asked, why was she painting him as the problem? Word on the inside suggested that maybe he refused to play along with certain behind-the-scenes demands, ones that favored Blake's status. Others claimed he was set to direct or produce projects that she wanted for herself. Either way, the feud was not just personal. It looked like a ruthless career power play. Then, the real meltdown began when the receipts finally surfaced. Honey, when I say the next part is messy, I mean messy. Suddenly, an audio snippet leaked featuring Ari Emanuel, one of Hollywood's top power brokers and the CEO of a massive talent agency. In that audio, Ari admitted that Justin Baldoni was fired simply because he wasn't on Blake's good side. Let that sink in. For months, Blake had been dropping hints that Justin was kicked to the curb for serious wrongdoings, painting him as an absolute menace to her peace of mind. Yet the leaked conversation revealed an entirely different truth. It was all about who was friends with whom. There wasn't a shred of mention about Justin's alleged, threatening behavior. This made Blake look real suspicious. Girl, the internet was on fire, with fans demanding answers. If Justin wasn't fired for actually harming her, why in the world was he dismissed? And why did Blake claim she was living in fear? People started connecting the dots. Maybe the entire fiasco was orchestrated to sabotage Justin's projects. He had deals lined up, a potential live-action Pac-Man movie, streaming contracts with giant platforms, and all of them vanished. Studios rarely question the word of a top agent, especially if it keeps them in good standing with an A-list star like Blake Lively. Meanwhile, Blake pranced around at film premieres, snapping photos and posting glamorous updates. She also managed to snag voiceover or documentary gigs, proving she had the clout to keep her brand shining. This is where folks really began asking, is she the victim or is she the villain? But that was only the tip of the iceberg, because then the family drama took an even nastier turn. All that tension between Blake and her sister finally burst out of private circles. Picture the Lively siblings in their younger years. They appeared inseparable. But behind the scenes, industry whispers said Blake often overshadowed her sister's efforts. Some cynics joked that there's only room for one Lively in the spotlight, and apparently, Blake agreed. The meltdown truly escalated once the sister decided she'd had enough of being sidelined. Rumor has it she threatened to share certain receipts that painted Blake in a negative light. Emails, text messages, you name it. If the public saw them, the sweet image Blake cultivated could shatter. But oh girl, Blake is no fool. She's got high-rolling connections. Word on the grapevine is that she used those connections to hush up her sister's claims. Some say hush money was involved. Others say it was all about threatening to pull strings and get her sister blacklisted from future gigs. The environment grew so tense that close friends were forced to pick sides. Some openly took Blake's corner, praising her star power and victimhood, while others felt uneasy endorsing her claims. Add Justin Baldoni's ordeal into the mix, and the entire Lively family was drowning in speculation and hostility. Meanwhile, fans on social media began digging up old interviews and event footage. They spotted subtle jabs the sisters threw at each other, moments that, in hindsight, looked like coded warnings of a future explosion. Old paparazzi photos gained new context, with people noticing that the siblings rarely posed together or avoided each other on red carpets. Once the family's private feud became public knowledge, it put a new spin on everything else. Was Justin simply caught in the crossfire of a messy family power struggle? Or was he used as a scapegoat to distract everyone from the real meltdown? The Lively sisters at each other's throats? As more secrets poured out, Hollywood itself stood up and took notice. Y'all, when Hollywood sees drama, it either backs away real quick or dives in for the spectacle. In this case, people started choosing sides. Some prominent figures quietly stepped in to support Justin Baldoni, especially after hearing how he'd lost so many deals overnight. They found the official story from Blake's camp suspicious, especially with Ari Emanuel's leaked admission that Justin had been cut loose for personal reasons, not professional misconduct. Producers and casting directors who'd worked with Justin found it odd that such a supposedly dangerous or threatening figure had never shown red flags on set. He was widely considered respectful and easy to collaborate with. So why was he suddenly blacklisted? On the flip side, A-list friends of Blake and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, remained loyal. They had plenty to protect: brand endorsements, future co-star deals, and major projects in the pipeline. Blake, after all, commanded a massive following and had built a squeaky-clean public persona that was good for business. Even so, the entire Lively meltdown cast a shadow over everything. Directors whispered that if they cast Justin, they could lose out on any chance of working with Blake. Some speculated that Ryan Reynolds also put in a good word to keep certain doors closed to Justin. Nobody wanted to be on the wrong end of a star couple's connections. That's how the cutthroat game in Tinseltown works. People in power can end your career with a phone call. And that's exactly what the leaked audio with Ari Emanuel hinted at. It's not about justice, it's about who you know. But just when it looked like the entire industry was content to bury this scandal, social media detectives changed the story yet again. In this digital age, you can't hide your skeletons for long. Fueled by curiosity, fans and bloggers dug deep. They found old clips of Blake praising Justin and praising her sister in interviews. They found contradictory statements. At first, Blake was all about female support and uplifting people around her. Yet behind the scenes, she was using hush-hush deals to corner both Justin and her own sister. That's when the public mood shifted from supportive to downright angry. People hate feeling tricked, and the narrative that Blake was a helpless victim started crumbling. Some called her out for playing the system, using her star power and personal ties to push Justin off a cliff while keeping her sister in the shadows. Additionally, more anonymous sources jumped in, claiming Blake's mental distress was exaggerated. It seemed she was telling the court she was too shaken to work, yet she had time to attend multiple red carpet events and sign brand partnerships. Folks took to Twitter and Instagram to point out her glowing smiles and confident poses, questioning how someone so terrified was comfortable in the spotlight 24/7. That's not to say she's not allowed to have anxiety or stress, but the massive disconnect between her statements and her actions stirred up serious doubt. People began asking if Blake was using mental health rhetoric as a legal and PR shield to block scrutiny. To make it worse, she kept hammering home that Justin was the cause. Well, that's when fans really started flooding social media with hashtag Justice for Justin. They demanded studios look deeper into how easily one star's word can destroy another person's career. They wanted Blake's brand partners to see the hypocrisy. But the real kicker came when lawyers got involved and threatened to blow the lid off everything. Now, sugar, if you thought all that was chaotic, let's talk about the current legal quagmire. Justin Baldoni, after losing deals and facing industry exile, began pushing back. Legal experts said he had every right to file suits related to defamation or malicious interference. And you know what? It looks like he's doing just that. As this case inches toward a potential courtroom showdown, insiders predict we'll see emails, text messages, and behind-the-scenes chats spilled out for the world to judge. That includes communications between Blake, her sister, big league producers, and agencies that parted ways with Justin. It's safe to say some folks in Hollywood are trembling because they don't want the public to know how the backroom game is played. If a trial happens, Blake might be forced to double down on her victim narrative under oath. But how will she explain away all those glamorous photos and events if she was supposedly too scared to be in public? How will she justify that leaked audio from Ari Emanuel, which suggests her personal connections ended Justin's career, not his so-called bad behavior? Meanwhile, her sister is waiting in the wings, rumored to have damning receipts that could paint Blake as manipulative. Even if Blake tries to settle, Justin might reject any hush offer, because the damage to his career has been catastrophic. He stands to gain more by revealing the truth and clearing his name, not to mention the potential settlement payout if the jury sides with him. Right now, it's like a ticking time bomb in Tinseltown. Everyone's watching to see who'll blink first. Will Blake try to save face and settle quietly, or will she fight tooth and nail, risking even more humiliating leaks? One thing's for certain, the meltdown is far from over. It might just be getting started, because when it's all said and done, the fallout could leave more than one Hollywood star in the dust. It's wild how one family feud spiraled into a massive scandal that threatens to expose the underbelly of Hollywood's power politics. Blake Lively, once beloved as America's sweetheart, might soon face the music about just how far she went to protect her image. And Justin Baldoni, the one so many labeled a villain, could turn out to be the real victim in this twisted tale. As the legal battles heat up and more evidence unfolds, we'll see who ends up on top and who gets devoured by the scandal they helped create. Thanks for supporting the Gossip Wire. If you made it this far in the video, make sure to like and subscribe for more of the hottest celebrity news online.